This is Sunstar in Spirit with your Timeless Tarot and Oracle card messages. Welcome back if you're here returning. If you're new, my messages are timeless, so that means that whenever they find you or you find them, they may be yours. If they do, they should resonate for the most part. If they don't for some reason, that's okay. You can check out one of my other videos, or when my next video finds you, that one may be yours. So let's get into it. Let's see. Let's go with this one. This is one of my new decks. So what do we have for the viewer? What does the viewer need to know for their best and highest good? What messages do you have for the viewer? Okay, let's see. We have the Five of Stakes. Okay. So Five of Stakes is a lot about, so it's kind of like your wands, basically. Um, Five of Wands is like, I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit of telling me like, don't burn your bridges at work right now. So viewer, if that's resonating, this may be your reading. But yeah, I'm getting that like things are kind of getting knocked over, in terms of like maybe what you had set up at work, something like that. Um, and that this is kind of like things are falling apart there a little bit. This is something that like, I don't know, this you had like a relationship at work, didn't you, viewer? Why? What were you thinking? That's kind of making things really difficult for you at work right now, is that you had this like, sorry about the light, that you had this like relationship going on at work. I feel like a lot of people were talking about this relationship. People were watching, what was going on here. And, now that things are over between the two of you, or like kind of like sort of shifting toward that way, it seems like it's making things really awkward at your work. So, that being said, workplace romances, that's tough, like, because they're super common. And actually, a lot of people meet their partner or whatever, their long-term partner at work, statistically speaking. So yeah, I get it, viewer. I get it that like, you meet people at work and you're spending a lot of time together, like most of your life together, basically. If it came to it, it's like you guys had a beautiful thing for a little while. It's not working out, but I feel like a lot of people at work are sort of talking about this, right? That there was this thing that was going on between you two, and now it's like just be careful how you move forward with this, because like I'm not saying stay with the person just because it's going to create work issues. I'm just saying be very careful going forward with like discussing these things at work, discussing the relationship, discussing what's going on, because you want your privacy, and it's when you're in the workplace, you're, like I said, you're spending most of your time there. And who wants to have people like, talking, asking you about your personal life, talking about your personal life. So, just, I would just say like, hang back, be quiet. Like, people ask you about it, just say, I don't have time to really talk about it right now. Get back to what you're doing. Next card, I have Owl Spirit or Wisdom. So, this whole relationship thing has really taught you a lot of lessons, viewer. Taught you some lessons about like what you do and don't want to get involved with, especially in the workplace. And I really feel like there's like what's been going on is sort of coming to an end either way, whether it's like a friendly thing or if it's not so friendly, depending on what has happened. Because I really feel like somebody really did something to kind of like tear things up, right? And I am not getting that it's like a third party thing. I think it's just within the relationship itself, viewer. But this is bringing you a lot of wisdom and understanding about what you should and shouldn't be doing, and like kind of using your judgment in a different way. It's like you've had to think really long and hard about what you've done. But the good news is like it's not going to be going on much longer, right? Like this is kind of coming to an end where I think the drama part's already sort of unfolded, is what I'm getting. And since that sort of has passed, it's just kind of like damage control. Sorry, it sounds so crazy. But yeah, damage control, right? We need to do damage control so that way we can keep our job and keep things going at work, right? What else for the viewer? Damage control. Sorry. I don't mean that in a bad way, viewer. Okay. So we've got full moon in Aries, a fiery climax approaches. So like that energy is pretty spicy. So maybe things ended on a really good note for the two of you. I'm not really sure, but that's kind of what I'm getting out of this is like things didn't work out, but it ended really on a note that everybody was satisfied at the end, so to speak. As fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. We just had a full moon in Aries, didn't we? Just, like a few days ago. And it was a spicy one, I have to say. So maybe it was for you too, viewer. Okay, so we're getting the nature spirits out of the ancestral oracle cards. And, so I've got a lot of like very root chakra energy coming through in this reading, a lot of like physical body stuff going on. We've got like this, we had like a steamy work romance, it's ending. You sort of like are looking back at it like, wow, that was really very physical. And I get that sense that this was like a very physical relationship, viewer, for you at work. And, as it came to an end, right, this fiery climax of a relationship, what spirit is kind of like calling you to do is reconnect with some of these like different energies, right? Like water, right? You're deeply grounded and you're deeply passionate. So you've got a lot of like earth and fire energy going. And to sort of balance that out, they're wanting you to connect with water. So I'm getting like drink more water, I'm getting like do some swimming or like maybe be at the water. If you can't do that, just like I said, I mean, just drink more water, something like that. But you need a little bit more of like a balance in the elements is what I'm getting from like, where you're at. So that and, air element is also there too, and ether. But, what I'm mainly getting is that they're wanting you to connect with your water. So like your emotions, right? This was a very deeply physical relationship and wasn't really involved in your feelings, maybe the other person's feelings, viewer, but not yours. And they're like, this isn't good for you, viewer. You need to like really reconnect with your emotions and, sensing how other people are feeling, how you cause other people to feel certain ways and they cause, you need to like be in your feelings a little bit, right? What else for the viewer? Okay, what else for the viewer? Hmm. Yeah, Princess of Cups. So we've got another like very watery card, okay? You have to really balance your intellect, your rational, sort of thinking, your masculine energy, because right from the beginning, I had like this very, masculine energy with the Five of Stakes coming up. But yeah, this Princess of Cups is definitely calling you to, supporting this card and saying it's time to connect with your emotions. And I know that you feel like, I don't know, I'm getting a sense that like your emotions, your feelings and things like that in relationships, are very challenged at times. And it's because there's some work you need to do on maturing your emotions, right? Like you're an adult, you're grown, but like there's still part of your inner child here that's like really missing out on some connection emotionally, and your sensitivity to things, um, your intuition, your senses, not just your intellect, and the fact that you are, um, in this masculine energy. So anyway, what else for the viewer? What else for the viewer? One of these. What else for the viewer? So time to get in touch with your emotions, viewer. Your full moon energy has passed, but it is time to connect with the inner child. And again, we had the Princess of Cups, and out comes the Page of Cups. So this is an important message for you, viewer. You really need to reconnect with your emotions, your senses, your intuition. That's three in a row here, like these very watery cards following a very, very physical sort of like root chakra, um, vibration, right? So like they're wanting you to expand the way you're sensing things, meaning spirit, right? Because these are messages from spirit for you. But you know, Page of Cups and Princess of Cups, you know, like there's some fragility here. I mean, they even kind of look the same, like they're sort of facing the same direction. They sort of look the same. Um, and, you know, I get like a very childlike sort of vibe here. So, like, again, I really feel like your inner child is very wounded. And this is why these relationships that you're having, even if they're at work, you're making them very physical, very like not connected with your emotion. You know, even this like full moon and Aries energy that came through, it was like that's very fiery, very like, you know, I'm in and I'm like doing my thing and then I'm gone just as quickly, you know. Um, so viewer, I mean, the message for you is really like, let's get in touch with what's going on with the inner child. Let's sort of like feel some emotions here because even in your relationships, they're very you're kind of getting this reputation, right? Like you're getting a reputation at your work, and that's part of what's making things sort of fall apart there is, you know, you're just you're kind of using people physically, viewer. So if that resonates for you, time to work on the emotions a little bit. Interesting. What else for the viewer? What else for the viewer? Okay, yeah. Loyalty, sincerity, and unconditional love. This is what the inner child needs. This is what spirit is trying to tell you. You need this for your inner child for the healing, okay? And what I mean is like, you know, talk to a therapist, talk to a family member, get these things off your chest, whatever had happened. So viewer, just kind of be aware that, you know, if this resonates with you, like I said, where it's like you had some betrayals of loyalty in the past when you were younger, and this is something that needs to be worked on and resolved, or you're not going to have, you know, healthy relationships to look forward to in life, right? Let's get a, you know, viewer. I think you're going to need one from the Rebel deck. I'm just saying. I feel like you're a little hard-headed about this stuff. I feel like people have pointed it out to you before, that you've heard it before. For some reason, it's very important. And what I'm getting is, you need to be prepared because the love of your life's about to walk into your life, and you need to be ready, and you're not. So this one, take a trip. Take a fucking trip. Go see some shit, do some new things, talk to people cooler than you. Okay. So, yeah, just like, you know, kind of get yourself out there a little bit more. I'm definitely not getting anything where it's like you need to go off in a cave and like lament about your inner child sadness, right? um, I mean, it's like get yourself out there and like experience relationships with people, like say hello, greet people on the street, like wish somebody a nice day, compliment somebody's, you know, what they're wearing or something. Just try to connect with people, viewer. I mean, you keep yourself like at a arm's length from people and you're so hard-headed about it. Um, you know, but I'm getting like, yeah, it's very important for you right now to connect with water and really heal that inner child wound that you have. You know, people can be jerks, people hurt us, people are disloyal, people, you know, all that stuff. It happens to everybody, you know, and if you're normal, like most people, stuff like that happens. And what it's saying is like, get yourself out there and talk to people, get to know people, experience relationships, basically because you're missing out. Like you're just missing out on so much, right? Um, what else for the viewer? So like, you know, you want to be living at 100% capacity, not like, you know, 35% capacity and, you know, all that stuff, if that makes sense. I don't know that where that came from, but that's what came to me. I think you might be a factual mind person, but potentially viewer. Potentially. Okay, yeah. And this one's coming out too. Full moon in Pisces, balance spirituality and practicality. And I've kind of was saying this before. It's like you really need to get some balance with like these masculine and like very physical material world sorts of energies. And you really need to get in touch with this divine feminine energy, right? Like the emotion, the feeling, the sensing, the intuition. I mean, full moon in Pisces, does it get any more watery and, moon feeling type stuff than that? Um, anyway, viewer, so I really feel like that's the main message coming through for you. I'm not really sure how many other ways they want me to say it, but Spirit, what else? Let's get 2 more cards for the viewer. What else do we need for the viewer? Let's go back to this one. And how are you helping the viewer, Spirit? How are you helping them with this transition from being sort of hard-headed and resistant to feeling things for people to somebody who can, you know, they're helping you with the sun energy. Oh my goodness. And this is really just like, yeah, you're gonna have to experience like the full range of emotion in your lifetime. This is part of your work for this lifetime. And the sun card is like, I mean, this particular sun card is a little bit different than traditional sun card to me. Um, Traditionally, sun card is like all these things are going great and full blossoming and blooming and abundance and like that sun energy is just like the life-giving energy and you have an abundance of it. I mean, this card though is telling me that this is like you really need to experience as hard as it is for you to heal this inner child and really get out there and experience relationships with people, true relationships where there's emotional connection. This is part of why you incarnated here this lifetime, viewer. And it's basically like you need to feel as deeply as you can feel. Full moon Pisces, feel as deeply as you can feel. Leave behind this like hard-headed, emotionless sort of like lifestyle where you're not connecting with other humans and learn what it's like, right? Learn what it's like to feel all the feels, like maximum love, maximum loss, maximum grief. You were put here to go through this gamut of emotions, okay? So resisting it is keeping you off of your true path that you're supposed to walk in this lifetime, viewer. So you have to get back on that path, and Spirit is trying to show you the way to do that. Let me just get a potential outcome for the viewer. What's the potential outcome? Potential outcome for the viewer. I'm hearing be vulnerable. Okay. Vulnerability is important to experiencing. Yeah. Potential outcome, new partnership coming in for you, viewer. Okay. I was just saying this a little while ago, wasn't I? I was saying you're not prepared for this partnership that's coming into your life because, you haven't really truly experienced emotional relationships with other people. I mean, not deep ones. And so this partnership's coming toward you and you're not ready for it. And it's going to potentially be this like incredible, fulfilling, with the sun. It's going to be this incredible, fulfilling partnership, but only if you're ready with a full cup for this person, okay? Only if you can show up. You have to show up completely for them. If not, it's not going to work out. So potential outcome is this great partnership that's headed toward you. And just like preparation for that, right? Preparation for that, experiencing these things so that you are not lacking in, what you're supposed to bring to the table in this relationship that's coming toward you. So viewer, I hope that that's helpful. Take care.